I think the first thing is that many of these proposals are not new. They have been on the table in different guises, in different places. And all that has happened is that the NDC has looked at all that has happened, especially in the 2020 election, and put together a document, tinkered with a few things, and brought it out. And these are our proposals. We accept.
There are actually 34 of them.
34 of them,
right.
not 30.
Right.
Actually 34 of them. And we accept that when we went round, we didn't just, in order to make sure that it wasn't seen wholly as a partisan issue, we engaged CSOs first. We have engaged the diplomatic corps. We have engaged religious leaders, both on the Muslim side and the Christian side. We have engaged the Peace Council. We have engaged TUC, both labor unions that are out of it and those that are in. So we've done a very broad consultation because we accepted from the onset that people may have different views on some of these proposals, and we would even have to tinker with it. So when we did write to the EC, we explained that at a later date, we might have to send a final document taking account of all the issues that we are getting from the public, if I can put it in those, or from the general populace and other organizations that we meet. And we've had quite a few. But I think the important aspect of this is that these are recommendations which can be put in possibly three very broad categories: short-term, medium-term, and in some cases, long-term, because of the manner of implementation. So, but we divided them into two broad categories initially. And the first category was those that are not directly in the domain of the EC, but fall into the area of some form of legislation or amendments to our constitution, and that the EC may not be directly responsible for. And there were 10 of them in our Part A. Then we put the other 24 as items which the EC has direct involvement or responsibility, may also involve legislation, but the EC would be the initiators or be responsible for them. And then we felt that they should look at those as well and see how best they can deal with it. And that's how the 34 came about. I don't want it to be seen also in isolation because, as you know, the EU also came up with a whole raft of recommendations, I think 20-something odd. And they were even concerned that in 2016, after those elections, they made various recommendations, 20, of which only 2, in fact, they say 1.5, but let's say 2, were actually implemented. And they were not even sure whether they should bother doing this one. And we made it clear to them that no, they should, because our democracy is growing and there's a need for change as we go along.